Chapter 2. Mystery Solved. When Martha had gone, I picked up the parchment and studied it. I tried to arrange the letters so that they formed Latin words, but it was impossible. I tried every combination of letters I could think of, but I still couldn't make any sense of it. I became hot. I felt I couldn't breathe, so I picked up the parchment and started to fan myself with it. While I was sitting in front of the window, I saw the back of the parchment and then the front. Suddenly I saw some Latin words which I knew. Craterem, a crater, terrestra, of the earth. You can imagine how excited I was. I had broken the secret code. At last I calmed down. Now let's see what it says, I said to myself. I spread the parchment out in front of the window and started to read it. I managed to understand all of it. For some moments I sat there without moving. I was frightened by what I had read. Was it possible? Had this really happened? Had some man really been brave enough to do this? And then I jumped up out of my seat. "Oh no!" I cried. "My uncle must not find out about this. When he reads this, he will want to do it himself. He will want to take me with him. We will never return to Hamburg. I must stop him from reading it." I took the parchment over to the fire. I was just going to burn it when the door opened and my uncle appeared. I just had time to put the parchment back on the table. My uncle did not see me. He was still thinking about the secret message. He studied the parchment all night. I fell asleep on the couch. When I woke up, it was morning. My uncle was still staring at the parchment. His face was white and his eyes were red. I felt sorry for him. I knew the secret of the parchment, but I could not tell my uncle. I knew he would want to follow in the footsteps of the old Icelandic scientist. That would be very dangerous. The morning passed. There was no breakfast and no lunch. I was very hungry. I started to change my mind about telling him of my discovery. Surely I could stop him from making such a dangerous journey. About 2 o'clock, my uncle put on his hat to go out. I decided to tell him. "Uncle Lidenbrock," I said, "have you found the secret of the code?" He said nothing, but he shook his head and stared at me. "I think I have found the answer," I said. I showed him the words I had written down. "Go down into the crater of Sneffels, which the shadow of Scartaris touches before July. Then you will reach the centre of the earth. I have done this. Arn Saknusum." When my uncle read this, he gave a great cry and jumped to his feet. Books flew everywhere. He walked up and down for a few moments. Then he turned to me. He asked me the time. I told him it was 3 o'clock. My uncle was surprised. "Is that the time?" he asked. "We must have some lunch and then pack my box." "What?" I asked. "After that, pack your own box," he said. I tried to tell my uncle of the danger of the journey, but he would not listen, and he walked out of the room. We ate lunch together, and then he called me into his study. "Axel," he said kindly, "you are a very clever young man, and you have helped me greatly. I will not forget this. Now bring me that atlas from the bookshelf." I did as my uncle asked. He showed me the places Arn had written about on the map of Iceland. I saw that Sneffels was a huge mountain, nearly 2,000 meters high. "But this mountain is a volcano. You can't go down into the center of a volcano. You would die of the heat," I said. My uncle smiled. "But Sneffels is an extinct volcano. It has not erupted since the year 1229. Now it is quite cold. Sneffels has several craters. Only one leads to the center of the earth. Arn tells us that the mountain Scartaris casts its shadow over this crater at the end of June. But everyone knows that the center of the earth is very hot. It is impossible to go there and come back alive." My uncle smiled. "Impossible, is it? Well, we are scientists, and we should go there and see for ourselves. We leave for Iceland the day after tomorrow.